forge anti-fragile confidence. So first you got to know the ultimate game. Then you got to know rule number one of the ultimate game. It's supposed to be hard. So, the story we're telling ourselves that it shouldn't be hard is arguably the number one thing getting in our way of enjoying the process of doing the hard work to craft a great life. But the idea of forging anti-fragile confidence is my favorite, concept in the book, and frankly in my life. But two terms: anti-fragile confidence. So anti-fragile, as the name sounds, is the opposite of being fragile.
Yep.
But Taleb's the one who coined the word, and until I had heard him say it, I'd never thought of anything other than being resilient. So if you're fragile, you break when life hits you. If you're resilient, you withstand more pain, then eventually you break down, but you bounce back faster than most. But it's not the opposite of being fragile. The opposite of being fragile is when life hits you, you literally get stronger, boom, like that. And so his metaphor is the wind extinguishes a candle, but it fuels a fire. So the question is, what are you? When life hits you, whether it's with an energy challenge, a health challenge, or a work challenge, or a relationship challenge, or all three at once, what do? The old me, and me when I'm not feeling as heroically enlightened, I would go off the rails, and I would do all the things I know I shouldn't be doing, frankly. And this is when the binge eating, binge watching, binge drinking, fill in the blank comes in. But what if instead we double down on our protocol and we do the things that we know we should do? When you do that, you build confidence, true confidence. So the word confidence, comes from two other little Latin words: confidere, intense trust. So if I want to build intense trust in any relationship, I have to do what I say I will do. So you and I have a scheduled time to connect. If I don't show up, you'll give me a pass because you know enough about me and maybe something came up.
Yep.
But if I don't show up again, you're like, dude, I don't trust this guy and you shouldn't trust me.
For sure.
So I like to look, if you want to build a relationship in which you trust yourself intensely to respond to life no matter what happens, you have to do what you say you will do. And if you say you're going to eat, move, sleep, spend time with your kids in a certain way or whatever, and you're not doing those things, and I'm not asking for perfection, but if you're not doing those things consistently, you're eroding your trust every single time you fall short of your standards.
Man.
Stated positively, when you more consistently do that, you build more trust. And then when life hits you is when you're most committed to your protocol, then everything changes.
Man.
Even 5-10% better. It's like, oh, shoot, that used to take me off the rails. Now it slows me down, makes me more focused, and I'm literally getting stronger. Like I'm hitting the gym, using those challenges as weights to forge my, again, anti-fragile confidence. And it's life-changing with that subtle but significant distinction.
Man, that is so helpful, especially when you think about wind blowing out a candle, but fueling a fire. That visual is exactly what is going on with us in the gym when we're training under heavy weights. It's also what's going on as we navigate through a very difficult business situation or a business financial crisis, like not letting that stuff blow us out, but digging in and plowing our way through it. With the confidence, one thing that I was curious your feedback on is externally, what I see a lot is folks can be very trustworthy with meeting external commitments. So they can make the appointments, but they cannot seem to meet those internal commitments with themselves. And you see that confidence drop. So maybe they're very trustworthy at work, but you will see them, missing workouts, eating incorrectly, improperly, even though they told themselves they were going to start making those changes. How do we get better at building that internal confidence?
Yeah, the first thing is just to notice it, to bring, oh, wow, that's an important distinction. You're right. I think most of us will honor those commitments. And we got some work to do on the internal commitments, So I think that's the first thing. It's just having the humility and the humanity, and then the self-compassion. We don't want to beat ourselves up. You want to shine a flashlight of awareness on it first. But then you do want to bring a hammer, and you want to hold the high standard to go, all right, well, what do I need to work on here? And then, you get clarity on, and I do different exercises, like the end of the Jim Rome interview we were talking about, that quick trip to hell.
Yeah.
You want to get sober, that this isn't a dress rehearsal. Like, show up. What are you waiting for, And then there's an art and science to behavioral change that follows that why. And then you navigate the habit loop, of installing and deleting habits. And you got to invest the time and the energy. We've been seduced to play the wrong game. Then we've been seduced to think it should be easy. And it's a big part of what you're doing is let's go deliberately create challenges for ourselves. Let's get out of the comfort crisis mentality and actually push ourselves. Same thing, but then get excited about it. These aren't chores. These are gifts the current version of you is given to the future version of yourself. But I think you're absolutely right. And then we just need to systematically architect our lives so our prior best becomes our new baseline. All the things we've done in the past at a really high level, we just want to re-architect, reinstall, and then get really curious about how far we can go if we started consistently living this stuff, especially when we get hit hard.
And what do you mean by we're seduced to playing the wrong game?
Yeah, so this is objective number one. You got to know the ultimate game. So again, this is a 2,500-year-old challenge. So Socrates and the Stoics talked about the choice of Hercules. So 2,500 years ago, literally, Socrates is telling us about, the mythological Hercules, but he was their archetypal hero. So young Hercules is out in a forest by himself, and he comes to a fork in the road, and two goddesses approach him. One goddess rushes past the other, and she's kind of overly made up and preening. Literally, this is what the Stoics would talk about. You can see her getting ready to snap a selfie and put it up on Instagram. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, all right, here we go,
Yep.
And she tells Hercules, follow me, and I'll give you an easy life. You just follow me, life of luxury and ease. It's going to have it all. Oh, and by the way, she lies to Hercules and tells him that her name is happiness, but her real name is vice, right? So the other goddess sits back quietly, and then she steps forward, and she's got this stern, austere beauty to her, no pretense. And she says, Hercules, nothing that she just told you is true. If you follow me, I guarantee you a life of hardship and challenge, but you're going to live a life worthy of your own respect and of the respect of the gods. If you follow me, that's what I promise you. Goosebumps. Don't promise you the easy stuff, but you'll get the ultimate reward. Her name was Areté. So the goddess Areté is the one that Hercules chose to follow. That virtue, that excellence, going for it, knowing that it's supposed to be hard. So we've been seduced. 2,500-year-old challenge that's just amplified to the nth degree in today's society with social media and all this. Fame, wealth, hotness, Instagram followers, square footage in your house, all the silly things that, not that they don't matter, but they don't matter relative to living a good, noble life in which you're trying to be a better person, you're deepening relationships, and you're making a contribution, independent of all the fame and wealth and hotness, et cetera. That's what a life of meaning is about.